Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sticks and Bricks, a podcast that takes you behind the scenes of luxury custom home building. With me, Sherwin Loudermilk, your host and president of Loudermilk Custom Homes, where we believe in the mantra, build it like it's yours. Have you ever wondered what goes into creating a custom dream home? Well, you're in the right place. In each episode, we'll dive deep into building science processes and construction business practices through interviewing leaders in the industry. We'll discuss the world of home design and construction by sharing stories, insights, and the secrets that make Loudermilk Homes the leader in Georgia and Western North Carolina. And here's something special for you. Stay tuned at the end of each episode for our Builder Pro Tips segment. We'll provide actual items and insights for you to use on your own projects, so you can turn inspiration into action. At Sticks and Bricks, we want to make your journey into luxury custom home building both informative and practical. So buckle up, get ready for a fascinating ride through the world of custom luxury home design and construction. Let's build something extraordinary together. Welcome to Sticks and Bricks. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sticks and Bricks. We're really excited today to talk to Jelsson Batista. Jelsson is a longtime architect. He's been with us for 6 years at Loudermilk Homes. He has run our architectural department, including not only the designs, but what kind of software we're using and the vision and the strategy of what we're going for. Previous to this, Jelsson had his own company called Batista Group for 13 years, where he oversaw not only residential but commercial projects, and not only in the architecture side, but he was a full design builder. So he did everything from planning up front to the building to at the very end, really managing the client expectations. So with that, Jelsson, welcome to Sticks and Bricks.
Thank you, Sherwin. Really excited to be here today.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the Loudermilk Homes approach to architecture design. And a lot of this was designed by you, Jelsson, which was fantastic. But I want to talk a little bit more about design build. So in Loudermilk Homes, we're probably around 65% of our business is in-house architecture. 40% is outside architecture. But we take the same strategy based on what Jelsson has kind of helped create for us, is a design build process. So Jelsson, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of came to understanding everything about architecture?
Well, as a kid, my dad was a carpenter by trade. So I spent my whole childhood just going from construction job to construction job. Since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to do something related to construction. Probably didn't want to be a carpenter at the time. So I wanted to elevate myself a little bit. And that's what took me into architectural school, actually. You know, that passion for construction. As a kid, my toys were tools. I used to play with tools, hammers, saws, screwdrivers. So it was kind of a natural progression for me to go to architectural school. So that was kind of the beginnings of it. So I went to college. I graduated in 2000. So seems like a long time ago. Like Sherwin said, I spent about 15 years working in the architecture arena. Then I was beginning to get bored doing the architectural stuff. So I decided to start working in construction. And that was like the perfect marriage for me because I had a chance to truly do design build. So I was controlling the design. I was involved in the construction part. And that was kind of a win-win situation for me. So that was kind of the background.
Okay. And you didn't say this, but you're from Cuba. And you ended up going to school in Russia, correct?
Well, yeah, I went to college in 3 countries in 3 different languages, but that's a different story.
That's for a longer conversation. That's fascinating. And you ended up in Miami, and then after Miami, you came to Atlanta.
That's correct. So I spent like 25 years not in Miami. I went to college in Miami, but most of the time I worked in Palm Beach County area. And yeah, I moved to Atlanta 6 years ago.
So what was interesting, Jelsson, we hired you as a project manager to be in the construction side. And I know when we first talked a while ago, you were saying, I didn't really want to even come back in this industry, and I didn't really enjoy the industry as much. And then you came in on the construction side, not on the architect side. And it was just soon after you joined, we started talking about, well, what if we brought on in-house architecture, and is this something that you'd be interested in doing? So what happened that kind of shifted you to want to get back into architecture?
Well, like I said, I did both sides of the spectrum. I did design, I did construction. And honestly, I got to the point that I was sick of it. Construction is a tough business. I mean, it will get you. So, I mean, I got to a point that I was like tired of it. So like you said, I moved here and I had a different plan. I wanted to open a restaurant. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And somehow I came across Loudermilk Homes and I said, oh, this is a company I would like to work for. And I guess at the time you were looking for a project manager. I didn't even submit it. I just sent my application directly to whoever was, I guess it was Kelly at the time, our office manager. I got an interview and here I am.
Over 6 years later. Yeah.
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 But like
Well,
you said, I was a project manager before on the construction side of the aspect. At the time, we were not doing design build, but I think you had your plan for that already. You didn't tell me at the time, but you had the plan.
Well, that's the thing that I love about working with you is that you understand both the architect side and the construction side. And that becomes very valuable because there are definitely times where we have architecture that doesn't necessarily work as well as it should in the field. And then there's sometimes where, you have the field that just needs more data. And so you understanding that side, the struggles that the builders have had, you're you're designing things in a way that really helps. So with that, let's talk about what design build means. And you see these different builders, and if you're somebody watching that is not in our industry, you could probably think, well, all builders are the same. All builders are not the same. You definitely have builders, and then you have your design builders, and then you have that ability to really help influence the design. So can you tell us in your own words, what does being a design builder mean?
You're right. If you ask 20 people, you're going to get 20 different answers. I think that we are a true design build company. What I mean by that is that we not only do the architecture in-house, but we have interior designers in the company too. So we are on the same building, we share the same space, we work together, we collaborate, we talk to each other every day, we're all on the same page. So the beauty of it is that we are in control. The traditional process is the client hires an architect, they design a house, takes 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 2 year. They design a house, they go to a builder, the builder price it, price comes back, it's too expensive, or they don't meet the client's expectations. They have to go back to the drawing board. And that process goes on and on and on and on. As the way we do it as a true design build firm, we are in control since the beginning. Since day one, we are in control. So we are designing a house, but we're analyzing everything. We're analyzing budget issues. We're analyzing technical issues, client preferences. So that's when the beauty really happens, when you are able to merge all that together in the same process, and it minimizes mistakes, it accelerates the process, and it makes it a lot smoother. So that's what a true design build frame is.
And it took us a while to get there and really understanding how this works, but we actually have it to where there's all the different compartments and we control it all. But there also is ability for a client to come in and say, hey, we would really like to use our own design firm, and that's fine. We can take our designers out, plug this design firm in. Even for yourself, we can take yourself as an architect out and put another architecture in, but we want to control that flow of information. I think that control is where what you created, right? This ability to control everything. And so that way we are managing the client's expectations, because just like you said, there's so many times, I can't tell you how many times that we've bid out a project with a third-party architect they didn't have the builder involved in the beginning, and all of a sudden we're coming in $2 million over on their budget, and they're going, why is it so expensive? Well, that's the way that it was designed. Yeah, but this price, there should be a certain price per square foot. That's not the way houses work. The same price or the same square foot house could cost double, if not triple, based on the complexity of the home. And so you really have to think about that. Your background, Jelsson, of the house that you designed, it's in Buckhead, has an elaborate staircase that goes up. That staircase is a lot more expensive than a regular staircase that we would just put into a normal house, because it's the showcase of the house. So things like that really are determine how much you want to spend on certain things, but we control it along the way. And thank you so much for creating that model for us, because it's made it so easy to work with our clients.
I mean, it boils down to the process you have already created too. So that's what allows us to scale and connect everything. It's really the process. So that's what I said. That's where the magic happens.
Well, let's talk about design of the architecture. So when we're talking to a client and we start this process, right? Like you mentioned, we're understanding their budget, their square feet. How do you start talking and getting into the client's head as far as what they want for their lifestyle, for their design, for their look and feel? How does that process work?
I mean, it all boils down to a process. So part of our 9-step process is step 1, which is the inspiration phase. And that's a big meeting that we have with the clients, all the stakeholders, the designers, the clients themselves. But in preparation to that meeting, we collect a lot of pictures from the homeowners. They've taken a step further. They send links to our Instagram accounts, to the house accounts, with all the visuals and the videos. They're sending a lot of links to videos and presentations, whatever they come across their way. Sometimes some clients are really sophisticated. They already have plans that they have done, or they have sketch or whatever. So they start feeding all that information to us. Plans, pictures, videos. It might be based on previous experience they have. Some of our clients, they have done this process before. So that's kind of what start feeding this inspiration process. On top of that, we have like a 15-page architectural questionnaire. So on that questionnaire, and we send it to the client prior to this inspiration meeting. So once they fill it out, we start having a better sense of what they're looking for, what the expectations are. So we're gonna ask them questions like, how many bedrooms do you want in your house? How many bathrooms? Do you want any kind of special space? Prep kitchens. How many garages do you want to have? How many kids do you have in your house? How do you live? So we really try to get into the client's head. Some of the clients, they have a clear idea of what they want. Some clients, they know what they want. They've done it before. Some clients, not so much. So it's our job to take those ideas out of the head and translate it into the dream. We say we take your dream, we make it happen. So that's what goes into it. And it doesn't happen in one day. It's like I said, it's a process that takes some time. We spend a few weeks just collecting information, trying to get into the client's head, a lot of conversation, text messages, emails, phone conversation, and that keeps going on. It's not only at the inspiration phase, but as we start developing these designs for them, they keep feeding this information to us, and it's really valuable. We couldn't do it any other way.
I tell our clients a lot of times in the beginning, I say, listen, I don't want to be seen as your builder. I want to be seen as your consultant, because that's really what we're doing. We're consulting for them, and we want their house to fit them like a custom suit fits. But instead of physically fitting, it needs to fit their family, what their goals are, their budgets. All of those things have to fit exactly the way that they're looking to fit, to make sure that it works for them. And I think that these consulting workshops that you've been dealing with and working with them is exactly that. You're getting to know them. You're becoming very intimate with the client as far as understanding their needs, their wants, their desires. Some clients sometimes even say, you're asking a lot of questions. Well, yeah, because we want to understand, how do you want to live so that we can design your home perfectly for you? And I think that's what that first engagement that you do so well, just asking a lot of questions and getting the design questionnaire and the mood board and things of that nature, can really help out with.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's the way we do it. So
well, one of the things that you have done is you've leveraged a lot of software, and I'm a past IBM guy, and I'm a techie, so I love using the latest and greatest technology. But you have created a BIM model, and BIM stands for Building Information Modeling, where it's really utilizing software to be able to put together architecture in a way that understands budgeting, it understands three-dimensional modeling, so our clients can have a much better understanding of what their homes are going to look like. And so I've been so fascinated when I watch you do this with the clients, but you're basically creating a 3D model and you're walking through the house like a video game, showing the client, on screen kind of what's happening. They can turn to the right, they can turn to the left, they can kind of get a visualization of how everything is supposed to be set up. So talk to us a little bit about the software you're using, how you utilize AI to help the clients and things of that nature.
Yeah. So it's funny because I'm not a young guy, so I'm coming from the old school. So I still do hand sketches, which I found it very valuable. But at the same time, we like to take advantage of the new technology. So at that initial phase, I do hand sketches just because they're quick and efficient, and I can communicate ideas quick. But once we start producing these designs, we quickly move into the computer. And you're right, we use 3D software. In particular, we use Revit, which is a BIM software. In the industry, it's called as building information modeling. It's not only a modeling software, but it includes a lot of data too. So it connects to window manufacturers, lighting manufacturers, plumbing fixture manufacturers. So all that data can be populated from these stakeholders. It can be plugged into the drawing, and it comes with, it's extremely precise because it's produced by them. So we don't have to recreate the wheel in that sense. But there is a lot of data involved in it. And of course, the part that the clients love the most is the visual part, being able to visualize the building. Because even for us who do this on a daily basis, sometimes it's hard for us to see, understand plans in 2D because we don't have that spatial awareness or whatever. So let alone for a client who's not trained to do that. So the fact that they can visualize it in 3D, and we can add materials, and they can see lighting conditions, and they can see the building at sunset or at sunrise, it's a huge, huge, huge deal. Especially now they're watching this kind of stuff on TV. So if they say, if it's on TV available, why can't I get it? So that's what I think that's what we shine, being able to be on the forefront of this, cutting edge technology. And we take it a step further. We're able to put that in visual reality. And it's really fascinating, like you said, being able to take a hand sketch, and process it through AI and produce a rendering that the owners can make a decision really quick. We can produce this really quick too without spending too much time.
Yeah, I'll never forget one of our clients. You did a hand drawing, and then we needed something turned around so that the client can understand what they were doing. So you did the hand drawing, you stuck it in AI, you produced 4 or 5 renderings within 30 seconds each, and you handed it to the client, and the client was like, oh yeah, I like this one. And then we picked that one. And not only that, that became the poster of the subdivision of the house behind you, in your picture behind you. And now if you go to the subdivision, that AI picture is there as our kind of inspiration for the whole subdivision, which was fantastic. And you did it by utilizing tools. So it's not as if AI is taking away your job. AI is influencing you, supporting you to be able to do a rendering in 30 seconds that used to take you 2 days to create, right? You're able to do it in 30 seconds. If the client doesn't like it, you just quickly change it, and you're able to produce. So it allows the client to really see how everything could look when they don't have that visualization, from before. And the history behind it is, a long time ago, they used to just hand draw, plans. And if they were wrong, they're either erasing them or they're redrawing them and redrawing them and redrawing them. Then it went to a 2-dimensional software, like a CAD software, where now you can put in 2-dimensional layouts of the walls, the roof, the sides, but sometimes they didn't always fit together properly, and it's hard for a client to really visualize in 2D. And now with this software, now we're not only doing 3-dimensional, but we're very interactive with the 3D modeling, where we can literally walk through it and see it. So it gives the clients such a better feel for what their house is going to look like at the end. And I can't tell you, even for myself, when I'm looking, I've been in this industry a long time. When I look at something, I look at it and I go, I'm just not sure that fits. And a site plan that you showed me the other day, where one of the buildings was taller than the other, and I didn't think it would have been until I saw it. And then we said, oh no, we can't do this. We need to have it a little bit more right size. So it gives that perspective of being able to see the big picture of what it could look like in the future, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a game changer. It takes the guesswork out of the equation. And like you said, I remember in the past, people looking at plans, they build a house, they come and say, oh, this is not what I expected. But there was no other way to visualize that. Today, we're going to avoid that by creating these three-dimensional models and visual walkthroughs, and people can get inside the space. It's truly immersive. They can get inside the space, they can look around, they can pick colors, they can change materials on the fly. And I mean, it's going to eliminate a lot of those mistakes, and it's going to make the process quicker too. I mean, we're seeing it already. It's saving time. It's saving
And
time.
this isn't something that's been around for 20 years. BIM modeling has only come out in the past 5-7 years, but really it's only become mainstream in the last few years.
Well, believe it or not, I did my first computer renderings in the year 2020, in the year 2000. It's just as at a time you needed like a really powerful computer. They were really slow. It would take a lot of time, and people didn't want to invest into it because it took a lot of time. It was very time consuming. Now technology has made it more available. It's streamlined, so now it's becoming like second nature for people. So we're reaping the benefits now.
And I'll say this, the architects that aren't using BIM and three-dimensional modeling, they're going to become dinosaurs, because it's just, you have to be able to see this as a client, especially a client that doesn't understand this. When they look at an architect and they're just giving them a two-dimensional model, and then you see this other architect that's three-dimensional, you can walk around and see it's a no-brainer to go down the path of the three-dimensional model, because it gives you a lot better understanding of what your home's going to look like.
Yeah. Not only that, the clients are demanding now. They're demanding it now. They're watching it on TV, they're watching HGTV, and they're demanding that.
Well, let's geek out a little bit more. Architecture, as far as how it helps the actual building science. So by using BIM capabilities and this three-dimensional modeling, we can do some really cool things. And you mentioned it earlier, where you have a house and you're showing where the sun patterns are going on the house. So we can see where the sun is going to be reflecting inside the house, and we can do many different things based on this. We can see that look, there's going to be a lot of windows on the west side of the house in the afternoon sun in Atlanta. That gets really warm. So we could put a reflective tint on those windows. We can connect it to low voltage and have screens that automatically come down at certain times during the day and go back up based on this information. We can plan for that, not after the fact, not sitting there after the home's being built and going, oh, the sun's in there. You can actually plan for that, looking at the sun patterns. And I love how you do this, because in your three-dimensional modeling, you show the sun on certain side of the house, then at the top and in the back, and we can plan for even air conditioning systems and the tonnage. And hey, there's these walls are going to be really hot. Maybe we put less windows over there. So I think it's really taking things. It's not just for design purposes anymore. It's for the full building science of being understanding how to put things together.
Yeah, this is fascinating. We have a client, we're designing a house in the mountains, and she specifically said that she wanted to see the sunrise every morning. So we geolocated the house, and we positioned the house in a way that she's gonna be seeing the sunrise every morning from the bed. That was her request. So the only way we could do it is by just using this technology. So we are able to pinpoint the location of the house, pinpoint the settings, the day, pick out the day of the year, the season, and she have a clear picture of what that sunrise is gonna be like. It's truly, truly fascinating. But it goes beyond that. It's like you say, we can predict patterns like AC, cooling patterns, sun protection. Should we put a longer overhang in here because the sun is gonna be hitting in here? Should we put rolling shades in here? So yeah, it's really a great tool to have.
The building science there, it's starting to become endless on the things that we've started to understand how we can influence. And so our processes, since you've created a lot of these three-dimensional modeling, our processes in Loudermilk Homes have actually changed, because now we want to make sure we ask that client, hey, have you thought about this because of the sun patterns? Have you thought about that because of the way that the reflection is? I mean, we are becoming much more intelligent in the way that we can serve our clients so that they can have that custom suit that fits them perfectly, and that house fits them the best way that we can possibly fit them. So it's unbelievable in how far it's gone. Even in landscaping. Now, this was fascinating to me. We had a client that was talking about the landscaping, and she really wanted to understand what her trees would look like. And so Jelsson took the trees and he put them in the exact location of what the landscape designer suggested. And then he did a futuristic view in 5 years and showed what those exact species of trees in that climate with standard, water patterns would be like, and how they would grow and how they would overtake certain places. And then went 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to show the trees and how they were there. And we actually moved a couple of the trees because we're like, oh, that tree's gonna affect the view here, so let's move it over there. And we were able to really analyze that. So it's not just even for the building science, it's for landscaping and things that are happening outside on the civil plans as well.
Yeah, no, it's a really valuable tool. I mean, I couldn't do it without it. I couldn't go back to drawing in 2D anymore.
Well, it's been so valuable to us, and how we leverage your creativity and your success and your team's success on being able to produce a better product. The other thing that's amazing about it is how quickly we can turn things around, because you're working alongside our builders and our project managers, and you're understanding the client's needs. And because you're understanding the building side as well, you understand what they need, and you're delivering on that, which is awesome. So what about the overall designs? We have a couple, the picture in my background is one of our houses in the mountains where we build in North Carolina. So it's a little bit more of a modern mountain looking home. The house in the back of your house, we're calling that an English Tudor look. It's one of our Buckhead locations that has that European type feel. How do you know how to go to one design versus the other?
It all boils down to that inspiration meeting. That inspiration meeting is the one that's gonna set the mood for the whole job. So we create what we call dream boards. Some people call it mood boards. We call it dream boards because it's a client's dream, and that's based on like I said at the beginning, the pictures, the questionnaire, everything we can know about the client, and that's kind of what the project is gonna spring out of that dream board that we create in conjunction with the interior designers. So our interior designers, they have a great influence in creating these dream boards too. They spend a lot of time talking to the clients, get to know the clients, and talk about the wants and the needs, and that's pretty much the way it develops. And then we go into the nitty-gritty details, like what kind of room do you want? Do you want a kind of special room? In the custom market that we work on, clients have special requests. They have hyperbaric chambers, they have cold plunges, they have saunas, they have massage rooms. One thing that we see probably in 75% of the houses we build is prep kitchens or secondary kitchens or scullery. They all call it a different way, but it's a common thing for us. Have secondary kitchens. I'm designing a house for a client. They want a spice pantry, just a pantry for the spices.
Yeah, I remember one of our clients, it was the hardest thing. They said, we want a indoor basketball court and an indoor racquetball court in our basement. And so I looked at the footprint, and we just said, well, you can't do that. We don't have the footprint to put both of them. They said, well, you got to figure it out, make it work. Well, the racquetball court has to be a fixed size or else it doesn't work. But the basketball court can be whatever size because you're just shooting on a goal. So what we ended up doing is putting a basketball court, a goal, on a motor where you click a button and the goal came down and went into the wall with a little flange. So now you still have a racquetball court, and then you hit another button and it comes back out. So we come up with some real unique things to be able to service our clients and fit the requirements that they need. And we can do that with it, by analyzing all of this up front and understanding how it all fits together.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, most likely we're never gonna say no to a client. Most of the time we're gonna find a solution. That's what we do. We just find solutions. So it's really interesting to have those kind of requests and find a way to solve them.
Well, let me, before we wrap up, I wanted to see if you had anything that you wanted to tell the clients, any recommendations or anything about Loudermilk Homes that you think that they would benefit from.
One thing that I can say is that, and I always tell, when I have young people working for me, I always say, we're here to make the dream come true. We're not in here to impose our ideas or impose our style. I don't have a style. I don't have a special idea. For me, every client that comes through the door is a blank canvas, and it's my job to take those ideas and make them a reality. Having said that, it's really valuable when clients come prepared to. Like I said, the pictures, the images, the sketches, their ideas. It's really difficult when a client comes and they don't know what they want, because we don't know what they don't know. So, but I don't think that's our case. For the most part, our clients, when they come ready and they come prepared, and they know what they want, and it's really rewarding when we have those kind of interactions with clients, and it makes the process really fun. But in the same sense, we're not magicians, so we're just getting those ideas, trying to translate it as better as we can, and I think we've been pretty successful, based on the results we have. We're really patient with our clients too, so we always say that we handhold them through the process, and we invest everything we have into them. We're really very client-centric, so for us, clients are number one.
Well, Jelsson, it's been such a pleasure working with you these last 6 years. I can't wait. If we've created what we've created in this department in 6 years, I can't wait to see what the next 6 years brings us, because it seems like the sky's the limit and we're getting better and better every day, which is fantastic. So thank you for being part of the company. Thank you for all of your inspiration and being one of our senior executives. And then also thank you for joining me on this episode of Sticks and Bricks.
Really appreciate it. It's really fun to be here.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, everyone wait for a little bit, and we should have the pro tips segment for you just in a minute. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining.
And that concludes another episode of Sticks and Bricks. I hope you enjoyed our journey into the world of custom luxury home design and construction. Before we say goodbye, let's dive into our Builder Pro Tips segment, where we've broken down today's episode into actual items. Remember, turning knowledge into action is the key to making your dream home a reality.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to our Pro Tips segment on our architecture. Thank you for joining on it. Our Pro Tip segment is going to seem a little self-serving, but it's to get your builder involved sooner rather than later. If you have a design build firm, great. They're all interconnected, and that's an easy transition. If you are working with an architect, an outside architect, bring your builder in early and start talking about budget, timelines, expectations, things of that nature. What you don't want to do is what we call being in the hamster wheel. So it's where you work with an outside architect for 6, 8, 12 months. You finally design your beautiful dream house. You go to a builder, and then all of a sudden the builder gives you a price and you're, $3 million, $2 million over budget. I see it all happen all the time in high-end custom homes. And then now you're in the hamster wheel. You don't want to spend that money. We all have budgets based on where we are at. And so then you want to have a lower budget, so you get back with the architect, and that architect is going to charge you to change things around. You had your dream house, and now in your mind you're frustrated because you're having to squeeze your dream house. You finally get it to a budget that you want. You bring it back to the builder. There's still some back and forth going to try to understand what those budgets are. Remember, this isn't a production home like a D.R. Horton home. Every single stick of that home is going to be priced out individually. So if you have long spans or complicated designs, it's going to cost more. I mean, it's like the difference between driving a Mercedes or driving a Bentley. They're both the same exact size car. One of them costs $250,000 and the other one costs $100,000. Why? They both have 4 tires. They have an engine. They get you where you need to go. It's what's inside the car that makes the difference. It's what's inside that house that makes the difference. So we need to having their builder involved early can really help you with that future headache of having and cost of having to go back and forth and back and forth. So that's the segment tip. Try to involve your builder early or get a design builder, and all of this is incorporated into one. Thank you for joining, everyone. Have a good day.
I hope you found these tips valuable. If you have questions or want to share your experiences, please reach out. We're here to support you. Thank you for being part of Sticks and Bricks, and stay tuned for more inspiration. Make sure to subscribe below. Until next time, I'm Sherwin Loudermilk signing off. Thank you for listening.